After the AGM, Charles Mowrey, ClearVue Technologies Director and CEO of AG Solutions, explains how ClearVue clear solar glazing will benefit the facade industry.
Two things right away. I met Vic last March, and two things that day kind of changed my life. Great idea here. This is a great technology. It's scalable. It's a big market. It's got everything you need, and it's in my industry, building. You do greenhouses and others, but I'm excited about the commercial building industry that I've been in for over 5 decades. The other nice thing was Vic was 80, so I've been given many opportunities young in my life. I'm always a young guy in the room, and all of a sudden I'm 61. I'm starting to feel like the old guy in the room, and I meet a guy that's 80. I'm like, okay, I'm back in the game. So, anyway, it's a great day, March 1st last year. Thank you, Vic. If you don't mind, the official meeting's over, but I'm proud to be a board member. Vic asked me to be a board member right after that meeting. I joined, I think, April. The rest of my 5 minutes, I'm the CEO of AG Solutions, so I'm going to really talk to you about one of your best customers. AG Solutions is a, you're going to flip the things? Yeah. I grew up in the facade industry. I ran Harman, the largest curtain wall contractor in the U.S., owned by Apogee. I stepped away for 10 years and traveled the world trying to find emerging technologies that I felt were going to be needed. At some point, we got to stop letting energy go out the window. And I reviewed several companies for a decade. I started to find a few. I didn't know about ClearVue 5 years ago, but I got back in the facade industry and did a startup. I wanted to start another type of Harman that was focusing on bringing the right type of solutions to buildings. And I spent a lot of time on the name. Section 8 is the architectural specs, and G is the first letter of glass. That wasn't hard. The word solutions was meant to brand a company that could be the U.S. leader in the right type of glass solutions. So that's where the name came from. We've grown fast. I didn't know a pandemic was coming, by the way, when I started this in 19. That was interesting. But here we are, 2023. 2024 will be $60 million in US dollar revenue. So we've grown pretty fast. I say it's a startup, but I gathered a bunch of people I knew in the industry, and we're all kind of, somewhat experienced, and it wasn't too hard to get this off the ground. We picked 3 good markets: Kansas City, a lot of population growth, Denver, Phoenix. Things are going well with the company. We're ambitious. The solutions, there might be more, but top on my list is ClearVue. Luxwall, read up on them, very exciting, financed by Bill Gates. Interviews, it's an adaptive way to put glass on old buildings. So new construction, if it slows down, don't worry. There's billions of square foot of glass in America that's been built over the last 100 years that's inefficient. We can retrofit that glass, and Interviews is a way to retrofit it. These 3 companies work together. There's a lot of synergies. It's like 1 + 1 + 1 equals 6.5. So ClearVue, I've got some experience. Next slide. Don't get too scared about the graph. I know we're not all in the glass industry, and maybe you don't all like graphs, but this graph means a lot to me. And 15 minutes into the conversation with Vic, March 1st, is what I thought about with this. So think of the blue line as visible light transmission. The amount of light that comes in buildings. Occupants, developers, building owners, you kind of want natural light. You just don't want the heat and all the stuff that comes with it. The red line, think of solar heat gain. You kind of want low solar heat gain coefficient. The lower the number, 0.23, it means it's stopping 77% of the heat. So you kind of like T-Viz to stay high, and you want heat gain to stay low. History is always important. In the US in the 70s, huge energy crisis. It was very expensive for gas and oil and air conditioning and heat, and we didn't have a lot of glass technologies. Everything was just clear glass. What happened is we gave up on T-Viz, and we had to get lower heat gain. So we had highly reflective glass. It almost looked like mirrors on buildings. It was horrible. We had deeply tinted glass. We stopped running clear glass in float plants. We ran gray, bronze, as deep a tint as we could get in the glass, because tint absorbs the heat. So that was solving a problem then. As soon as the energy crisis is over, everyone says, yeah, forget that. Let's use clear glass. Get the T-Viz back up to 70%. Yeah, heat gain's coming in, just turn the air conditioner on. Then, we didn't have an energy crisis, but we started developing technologies. The one, low E, a sputtered silver coating on glass. Single silver, double silver, triple silver. It lets light in, but it stops heat. It's like invisible aluminum foil. So my career in the industry was about low E technologies. And as you can see, heat gain comes down, which is good, and T-vis will stay up. I knew the guy that developed sputter coated low E, hard coat with Virocon, Russ Huffer. He told me 10 years ago, there's diminishing returns. There's not going to be a quadruple layer of silver. At some point it will be aluminum foil. You won't be able to see through the glass. So I started thinking, what's the next way to stop heat gain? I meet Vic. He's talking about solar power, which is cool. We're sputtering glass, sputtering light. You can see through, because solar is silicon. I'm thinking, how can you see through silicon, solar power? He says, no, we disperse the light to the solar cells and generate power. Okay? As you disperse the light, you're dispersing the heat. And light bulb went on, and I'm excited about solar power generation, but this product reduces solar heat gain by 20%. So on any glass makeup, the two dots I've shown, what's going to win in the US is ClearVue can stay up at the high T-vis, and we're going to be a little bit lower than anybody else's heat gain. Because our secret sauce in the PVB is diverting the light to generate solar, and it's also lowering heat gain. And that's going to be the winning formula and why we're so excited. Nobody's going back to highly reflective glasses. That'll never happen again. You can't even drive down the highways in America. Some of those 1970 buildings. In fact, they'll probably replace that glass with ClearVue glass. The renovation market in this thing is much bigger than new construction. Next slide. Make sense on that side? So we got a lot of work to do, and the channel is important to understand the channel, and it's not that easy to understand it. So AG is a contract glazer. We do shop drawings, we do all the aluminum framing, we fabricate it, we buy the glass, we put the aluminum and glass together. We're out on the job sites, a lot of construction here in Australia too, all the tower cranes. That's what we do. We have cranes and equipment, and we're installers. The owner has to build a building. We've got to get to the owner and say, hey, you want to be net zero, you got to generate solar power. You want to be low heat gain, the best thing going is disperse the light with solar power, do them both. We got to get that message out. We got to find the owners that are committed to be net zero, low carbon. The governments are helping us. Some states are mandating it, so that'll give us a little runway. The architect, you got to get the architect in to change their specs. Don't use low E, let's use ClearVue. So this is a lot of work by a lot of people. AG is going to do it selfishly. We want to sell the chops. So I'm going to be out with my team promoting architects, contractors, owners. The contractor, general contractor is the one that's building the entire building. They give me an order to do the glass. And the glazing contractor is what AG is. We're the ones actually that will be buying the ClearVue product from one of your licensed fabricators. So Martin will be licensing insulating fabricators. By the way, that video in China that proves you can go into any insulating unit company, convert them over to make ClearVue without a lot of CapEx, not a lot of change. That's big. That's what we say scalable, and a big ratio from potential margin to amount of CapEx needed by anybody through the channel. It's not a huge CapEx need, but there's margin behold. That's why we call this a big scalable business. Anyway, I'm going to be working. Great CEO we hired, Martin, from the industry. He's going to have a network of people in all countries calling on architects, owners, general contractors, and glazers. And then you need many more glazers in addition to AG to be out there installing this stuff, and then license all the insulating unit fabricators. But anyway, that's a little bit about the channel. Is that the last guy? Yeah. Anyway, happy to answer any questions.